Hey everyone, it's Andy again. Today we're doing another install. We're installing some stuff from Auxbeam. Finally getting, I think I mentioned it in the last video, I had some wires I wanted to clean up, so I finally got a switch panel. Have a few more lights planned in the future as well, so this will definitely help with that, so we're not just running wires everywhere. Now, word of warning, I did install most of the electrical stuff in the engine bay already. I had a little bit of trouble figuring out like where to put brackets and where to run wires and stuff. So I'll show you everything that I have installed up until now. But I will go over everything that comes in the box. But first, this kind of beat me up, so I need a snack. Hey, don't anyone ever tell you that you're not allowed to have Dino Nuggies. Anyway, let's get to the unboxing. Alright, so here's everything that comes with the Auxbeam kit. Now I do have the RA60, that's the 6-gang one that has the momentary and pulsed one. I have this open just to show you the rest of the parts that I already have installed, but as you can see, stickers for the actual panel, a Auxbeam sticker, a couple brackets. There is one more that's already installed. This is the wire that goes from the fuse panel to the control panel, and some zip ties and like some 3M tapes if you want to stick this somewhere, a little cover, and some power cables. Now there's going to be three whenever you order yours. Two of which I already have installed, and it also comes with some screws and stuff for mounting. But let's go ahead and jump over to the truck, and I'll show you how I have it set up in a 2024 Tacoma. Alright, so now we're on the side of the truck. This is where the battery is. Now, I spent a good bit of time trying to find a place for the included bracket to fit on this side, and I really couldn't. We do have this fuse box right here if you want to put it right here, just with some double-sided tape, or you can drill into this, but I really didn't want to. In the future, maybe if I find a little bit more of an elegant solution, I'll switch that out. But for now, I think we're in a good place. But I did have to make some wires to run to the other side. But this is one of them that is included. This initial one that goes to the breaker. The breaker is just tied to this battery tie down, and it holds it secure enough. And that comes with a little cover, one in, one out, and then the actual breaker. I have it switched off right now. But let me go ahead and I'll show you the other side. Alright, so now we're on the side. And as you can see underneath this little cowling, there's this red wire, and that actually connects to the breaker that I just showed you. And I got 7 feet of 6-gauge wire, and that runs all the way down the cowling and then through this trim panel here, and then the actual fuse box now lives here, and I'll show you a close-up of this in a moment. But there's actually a spot here that is blank that perfectly fits the bracket for the Auxbeam. There is one piece you have to buy just because of the height difference, but I can show you that. But yeah, actually very surprised that there is a spot here that honestly holds it pretty well. We'll see once we actually have to start installing stuff if it works out. But I think with just like a little screwdriver, cause it's just Phillips heads holding in the wire, so it shouldn't be a problem. And I'll also show you how I hooked up the auxiliary or the accessory switch. I actually wired it into this fuse box, and I'll show you that. Alright, so here's the actual position that it's mounted in, and as you can see, like it's pretty sturdy. Now this and this one right here are both screw holes that are already open. So if you, I can't remember the pitch off the top of my head, but if you just get 2 of those, also this one down here at the bottom, you'll need a little 1-inch coupler or just like a spacer, if you have it, just to go underneath it, because this one is higher than this one. But just a little 1-inch spacer, and it mounts up flat. As you can see, I do have a ground as well, and this is the power that I showed you earlier. This is the original ground wire, and that actually just wires up to back here. There's a chassis ground that's back there, and it's just tied in, or it's just tucked in behind this little panel here. And then, so now let me put the camera down, and I'll show you how I wired up this accessory wire. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull this fuse box off. Now I ended up using this one here on the right side. I believe this is the fan. Yes, so there's a 7.5 amp fan fuse that goes here. I just used the included fuse tap and plug that in. This is the wire that goes through for the accessory switch. And actually this module right here, there's 2 tabs on either side. If you pull on both, it actually comes out, and then you can actually pull back this this cover. You'll have to undo some of this electrical tape, but you can pull that back, tuck the wire inside, and then you should just be able to push it through and get into the fuse box without having to cut any holes or potentially smashing the wire against the seal. But yeah, it fits in there nicely. Cover goes back on, and that's where I'm getting my accessory power from. And here's a quick shot of the panel with the cover off. And as you can see, these are where your wires go. So they'll come up and then through. There's a little slot right here, so that's where you'll feed all your wires through. And now the grub screws are on top here. So that's what I was saying earlier. If you had just a small screwdriver, you can get into these. I haven't actually installed anything in these yet, and I'll do that here shortly. But I'm sure I have a screwdriver or something somewhere that can get into these. But yeah, let's go ahead and I'll talk about the ditch lights I have and how I had to wire them. Alright, now I'll show you how I set up the wiring for the actual ditch lights. So I have the Cali raised LED ditch lights. I did get the harness with it. So normally, whenever you get it, it comes with this relay. And coming out of this relay are a few things. You'll have your battery connection, which I just took apart here. You'll have your switch, which is this one. It has a little white connector at the end. So this goes to your switch. And then you have 2 that go to the actual connectors on the ditch lights. So there'll be a red and a black on each end. And that's what you need, because you no longer need this relay because the Auxbeam has built-in relays. And this is what we're going to plug in to the switch panel, or that's what the switch panel. So we'll just go ahead and strip these, and we'll take both reds and both blacks, and then we'll plug those into whichever slot that we decide. Most likely it'll be either 5 or 6, because those are 10 amp fuses, and the ditch lights don't pull too much. So yeah, let me go ahead and get these stripped, and then we'll mock up the cable run and make sure it works. All right, so we got these are our ditch light connectors. Got them spliced together, so I have the reds together and the blacks together. Now ideally you would use like a ferrule connector on top of it, just to make sure that the connection's solid, but I don't take my own advice, and I don't feel like going to the store, so we'll just go with this for now. Let's go ahead and move over to the fuse box, and we'll get these wired into I think 6 is what we're using. 5 or 6, but yeah, let's go ahead and go over there. All right, so now that we're over here, so we're gonna go ahead and take our wire, And I'll just set it there. Now I did find something to use as a little screwdriver. I just take this little, like the little magnetic bit holder and just put in a number PH1 Phillips head, and it works pretty well. They're not on there super secure, so they're just doing it by hand with something like this is fine. If you need a little extra torque, you can put like a little. I think these are what quarter inch. I don't know what they are. You can find a socket. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the number 6. So it'll be a little hard to explain, but or it'll be a little hard to see, but you'll be able to understand it whenever you do your install. Red goes to red, black goes to black. Alright, so now we got them all snugged up. So as you can see, red on one side, black on the other side. Snug them up so they're nice and secure. Now we just have to run these cables, or these wires. But first, let's go ahead and hook everything up and make sure that it actually works. So I'll go ahead and grab the control panel off of the bench over there with the wire that plugs into this board, and we'll do some testing. So one moment. Alright, so I got the little control panel wired up. As you can see, it does have power. Since I plugged it into a fuse that isn't always on, the truck is currently it's on, but just the engine isn't on, just to give everything power. So I do have power. Now I plugged in one of the leads to this ditch light here, and if all works correctly, I should be able to push this and it turns on, which it does. And so now what we can do, just to test the other side, we can go ahead and disconnect this lead and plug in the other one, just to make sure that whenever we press this, it turns on as well. So theoretically, both sides work now. Now this one does have the momentary and the strobe, but I haven't configured that yet, and so once we get everything wired up, we can play with the modes and play with the colors and stuff. Because there's a bunch of, you can change this panel color. You can do your strobe and momentary. But yeah, it looks like everything is working. So now let's go ahead and get the actual ditch light cables managed a little bit, just so it's not a little bit of a rat's nest. And then we'll go through how to feed this cable to the control panel into your cabin. We're going to use the firewall grommet that's right here next to the brake booster. Now we got everything wired up. As you can see, this is the interior control panel wire. So that's hooked up there. We got the ditch lights wired up and everything is run. But yeah, just to show you the rest, I tucked the wire up on top for the ditch light, ran it all the way to the other side, and the ditch light is plugged in over there. Alright, so now that we got everything installed, for you guys it's been about 2 seconds. For me, it's been 2 weeks, and I actually did end up taking my own advice and getting a little ferrule connector kit off of Amazon. These are super cheap. I think it was like $10-15, I think. It comes with all the connectors and just make sure that all the connections are secure. But let me go ahead and show you the interior now, because I did change up some things from the last 2 weeks. So before, I did have it the little sticky pad right here, and the wire coming out of here. Now I have everything moved over here, including my radio. So let me put the camera down, and I'll go ahead and show you this whole setup. So as you can see, now the Auxbeam is connected up here. I also now moved my radio from the cup holder to here, along with a external antenna that I ran back to the trunk. And both of these mounts for this and the one behind the screen are by Bullet Point mounting solutions, and I'll put all the links down in the description. But yeah, the cable just runs behind the steering wheel here. I have this plugged in so it's always charged, and then the antenna just runs into the trim here. But for this, the wiring was pretty easy, just running it through the grommet like I showed you, and then Yeah, just passing it behind the steering wheel here. But yeah, maintain all the features. I get all my lights, and then now I can show you, because we do have momentary and the strobe feature with this, so it does have a mode button. So if we hit mode, we press it twice, it'll blink. So red is toggle on off. Blue is momentary, so for example, we'll do front momentary, and then if you press it again, green is strobe. So if we press mode again, so as you can see, maybe we grab the camera, as you can see, now we have those strobe when they weren't strobe before. So we'll go ahead and click that. And then now these are also, you can kind of see it from under the hood. This is now a momentary rather than a toggle. So you just double tap the mode button again. Now it's green, red, back to red. And now we're back to our normal toggle. Yeah, and here's a close-up of the radio. This is again from Bullet Point. They have one that connects to this little grab handle, and then their little arms, and then a mount for any radio, any handheld. So it just uses the clip. Yeah, holds it pretty secure, and then a little speaker mic just to be able to talk without moving the radio. Alright, now also while we have the camera set up, I did also install these, I guess they're vents lights. These are the Baja Design S1. The brackets are actually designed by Baja 686 here in Southern California, and these are a prototype that I was able to test for them. Fits really well. The mount is really solid. It uses all the existing clips. Taking them out was a little bit complicated, but yeah, everything ended up mounting up very nicely. Got the lights mounted or attached to the switch panel, just the same way that we did the ditch lights. Yeah, and these, so I mean, it'll do the strobe, it'll do the momentary that the controller does. Well, let me go ahead and turn on all the lights so we can take a look at it. So if you go ahead and get in, yeah, so there's our ditch lights, and then our front fang lights. And of course we can do the strobe too, of course. A really awesome bit of kit if you're looking for lights, and a really easy way to mount, wire, and control everything while not having to worry about different switches everywhere. Originally I had the ditch lights attached or hooked up to where the OEM aux buttons are, and a lot of times I'd have to look over and like figure out where, like, make sure I'm not pressing the wrong button. And having the switch panel is really useful, and those mounts from Bullet Point are really solid. So there's some bolts behind the radio right there, so it bolts directly into that. So they're really solid. But yeah, overall it's not terribly difficult. It just takes a little bit just to figure out where things go. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Let me know if I missed anything. I can definitely add any annotations if I miss some things, or I could just make a brand new video. But I did do the outro somehow. All right, let's turn on the strobes to be obnoxious. My poor neighbors are just wondering what the hell this guy's doing in his garage all the time. It's okay. Hopefully I'm not blinding anyone in the middle of the day. It should be alright. Alright. Well, one of my neighbors is out for a run. I guess I'll turn it off. Alright, bye guys.